welcome the graduating class of 2023. You may be seated as they come in. You may be seated. We will ask that we allow the program to go on as best as we can. We know that the excitement will come out, but let us continue to allow it to go in order. Honorable Michael Darville, Minister of Health. Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, Minister of Education. Former Attorney General Allison Maynard, executive management teams of the Public Hospitals Authority, as well as the Ministry of Health, hospital administrators, other officials and dignitaries, members of our executive team of the UWI Alumni Association, members of the executive team of the Medical Association of the Bahamas, Dr. Corinne Sinqui, Director, UWI, Dr. Robin Roberts, immediate past Director, UWI, lecturers, faculty and staff, graduates of the class of 2023, along with your family, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am Dr. Sabrika Pinder-Butler, lecturer, UWI Scmr, and I will be your moderator for this historic occasion this evening. We are all here to celebrate God's faithfulness to this graduating class for all of the hard work that they have done, along with the support of their family members, teachers, and friends. We trust that you will have an enjoyable time this evening. Now, I know that our program, we have a lot to get done this evening, and certainly we're going to try to stay and move it along as quickly as we can. We're going to start with greetings from Dr. Homer Bloomfield, Vice President of the UWI Medical Alumni Association, the Bahamas chapter. Let's welcome him.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. It is my distinguished pleasure to have been invited here to give greetings on behalf of the Medical Alumni Association of the Bahamas. As you noted, I'm listed as the Vice President. And I guess I was invited because we weren't sure that the president was going to be back in the Bahamas on time. So I'd like to invite Dr. Loxley Monroe, the president, to come and bring the official greetings. Dr. Monroe.
It is truly a privilege and honor and a pleasure to be here this evening. And certainly, I don't hope to spend too much time with you. I spend my time in the operating theater. But as Dr. Sabrika Pinder-Butler mentioned, this is truly an historic time in the University of the West Indies. So in fact, Dr. Sinqui said she couldn't find me, but I was spending so much time doing research on UWI that when she called, I didn't hear her, and when I called, she didn't hear me. So tit for tat. The first Asquith Commission actually took place in 1919. Henry Asquith, who was the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, he held that commission to determine the legislative bodies in the University of Oxford and Cambridge. And then, in 1942, Oliver Stanley, who was the colonial secretary for the colonies, he called for a commission to look into higher education in the colonies. A lot of you all may think that it was because they were interested in our higher education. That was not the case. The blacks in the Caribbean was fighting for their education for a very, very long time. In 1858, the University of London actually changed its charter that students did not have to be in the United Kingdom to sit the GCE exams, as they used to call it. I'm sure a lot of us in here did GCE O-levels and A-levels. The charter of the University of London changed in 1858 so that students in the colonies did not have to come to the United Kingdom in order to get their degree, their certificates. And I'll tell you, here in the Caribbean, y'all may be surprised at what the Bahamas was doing at the time, right? The Bahamas actually registered because of that charter before 1890. The Bahamas was registered. Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Jamaica, Demerara, Antigua, the Bahamas and Bermuda. We were registered to do those GCEs since 1890 in this country. That's historical. So we have been playing a role in education for a very, very long time. It didn't just start in 1948 when UWI was actually accredited. Caribbean nations, including the Bahamas, wanted their children to be educated, and they pressured the colonial secretary to form that commission to investigate and to assess the possibility of tertiary level education in this region. University of the West Indies was commissioned in 1947, 33 medical students, that's how it started in Jamaica. So basically we are now at thousands of students. And we have the UWI Medical Alumni Association, the whole purpose of which, this is your alma mater. That's your old ma. Even though she may be wearing pampers, she may be cussing out your friends, she may be dirtying up your house, that's still your mother. And truly, your duty is to look after your mother. So we have the Medical Alumni Association. The pandemic wrecked it because Dr. Bloomfield and myself really had an effort going on, and with a lot of the other students. But the Pelican is rising in the West once again. So I would like to wish the class of 2023 all the best, and understand that you are going to be a part of the Pelican crew. We don't require the North to perform. We can outperform the North even in their own platform. So let us not forget that. We don't have to go anywhere. Yes, you can suffer. Administrators usually bring a lot of things against you. But this is your country. Fight for your country. I ask a question. This is the last thing. Do any of us know where Burma Road is? Do any of us know where Burma Road is? And do we know why those people stood up on Burma Road? Because they were being paid 3 shillings per day and the foreigners were being paid 8 shillings. And they said, no, we are not going to tolerate that. They stood up. 5 of them were killed. 5 were killed. We have to stand for our country, our region, our concept. UWI is a platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Monroe. And thank you for that historical, important information about UWI and the Bahamas as we celebrate independence. So it's important for us to keep those things in mind. We will now have a taped message from Dr. Gemma Roll, President, Medical Association of the Bahamas.
Oh, let me take you back to that moment, 18 short years ago, when I was finally donning that pristine white coat as a newly minted intern. It was an experience that overflowed with excitement and pure joy, an exhilarating culmination of years of hard work, determination, and countless sleepless nights. As I stood there in the large auditorium at Howard University College of Medicine, surrounded by my fellow graduates, the air was electric with a sense of accomplishment and anticipation. The weight of the white coat draped over my shoulders by the incomparable Dr. Mildred Hall Watson felt like a tangible symbol of professionalism, expertise, and compassion, a symbol of responsibility. It represented the trust that patients would place in me and the privilege I had been given to make a difference in their lives during times of vulnerability and need. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished faculty members, honored guests, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2023, a golden year in our great Bahama land. Today is a monumentous occasion, a culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the noble profession of medicine. As you gather to celebrate your achievement, I stand before you as a fellow physician and mentor, filled with immense pride and joy. First and foremost, congratulations. You are about to embark on a remarkable journey as healers and caretakers of humanity. This profession you have chosen is not merely a job, it is a sacred calling, and you have demonstrated the qualities necessary to answer that call. Throughout your medical school journey, you have acquired an extensive knowledge base, honed your clinical skills, and developed a deep sense of empathy. But today, as you transition into the realm of practicing medicine, I want to remind you of a few essential principles that will guide you in your future endeavors. First, always remember the immense privilege bestowed upon you. Patients will trust you with their lives, their hopes, and their vulnerabilities, and even their secrets. Treat this sacred trust with the utmost respect and humility. Your patients are not merely cases or diagnoses, they are human beings with fears, aspirations, and dreams. Take the time to listen to their stories, to understand their concerns, and to offer them the compassion they deserve. Second, embrace the pursuit of knowledge. Medicine is an ever-evolving field, and advancements occur at a rapid pace. Stay curious, be a lifelong learner, and never hesitate to question the status quo. Seek out opportunities for professional growth, engage in research, and contribute to the collective wisdom of medicine. Remember that your education did not end with your medical degree, but rather it marked the beginning of a lifelong journey of learning. Third, remember the power of collaboration. Medicine is a team sport, and the best outcomes are achieved through effective teamwork and communication. Respect and value the contributions of your colleagues, nurses, technicians, therapists, and all members of the healthcare team. Cultivate an environment of mutual respect, open dialogue, and shared decision-making. Together, we can accomplish far more than we ever could individually. Fourth, embrace humility in the face of uncertainty. Medicine is a humbling profession, and despite our best efforts, we will face cases that challenge us, outcomes that are beyond our control, and questions that remain unanswered. Embrace the unknown with grace and never allow arrogance to cloud your judgment. Admit when you don't know, seek guidance when needed, and always prioritize the well-being of your patients above all else. Fifth, remember to care for yourselves. It is easy to become consumed by the demands of the profession, to neglect our well-being as we tirelessly care for others. But remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Nurture your physical, emotional, and mental health. Cultivate hobbies, spend time with loved ones, and never forget to prioritize self-care. By taking care of yourself, you'll be better equipped to provide care to others. Lastly, on behalf of the Medical Association of the Bahamas, we are excited to extend our warmest welcome to you and invite you to join our esteemed association. The Medical Association of the Bahamas is a vibrant community of healthcare professionals dedicated to promoting excellence in medical practice, also advancing healthcare standards and advocating for the well-being of both patients and medical professionals. As you begin your journey as an intern, we believe that becoming a member of our association will provide you with invaluable opportunities for growth, networking, and making a positive impact within the medical field. We believe that your enthusiasm, dedication, and fresh perspective will be valuable assets to our association and the medical community in the Bahamas. Together, we can make a meaningful difference and shape the future of healthcare in our country. To join the Medical Association of the Bahamas, please visit our website at mabbahamas.com or contact us at the MAB House. We look forward to welcoming you as a member and supporting you on your journey to becoming an exceptional healthcare professional. Congratulations once again, my dear graduates. It has been an honor and a privilege.
Truly important words of wisdom for our graduating class from the Medical Association of the Bahamas. Right now, without further ado, I'm going to invite our director of the UWI School of Clinical Medicine and Research, Dr. Corinne Sinqui, to come with the program overview of our school. Let's welcome her.
Good night, everyone. Oh, what a joyous occasion. Protocol having already been established, I'd like to mention our Minister of Health, Minister Darville, and our Minister of Education, Mr. Hannah Martin. Thank you very much for joining us, and all the dignitaries. You are all dignitaries tonight. 2023 is indeed a special year. It marks the 75th anniversary of the UWI, the University of the West Indies, Bahamas' 50th year as an independent nation, and UWI School of Clinical Medicine and Research, 25th year in medical education. To God be the glory, great things He has done. UWI has been and continues to deliver on its original mandate to produce leaders in every field of service for our region. 75 years ago, it began with a class of 33 medical students, and it has now grown to an institution with nearly 50,000 students and 5 campuses in Mona, Jamaica, St. Augustine in Trinidad, Cayville in Barbados, 5 islands in Antigua, and the Open Campus. It offers over 800 certificate, diploma, and postgraduate courses, and it's a Caribbean leading institution and ranks in the top 150 best universities, not in the region, in the world. That is a lot to be proud of. Our Diamond Jubilee milestone is themed UWI at 75, rooted, ready, rising, and several initiatives are in place to reflect on the past, confront the present, and articulate plans for the future. Now let's focus on the Bahamas. The Princess Margaret Hospital was approved for internship training by UWI as far back as 1967. And it was a long time. Some 30 years later, before negotiations were completed in 1997 to allow the training of medical students for the last 2 clinical years. Students transfer here after completing the first 3 years of training in the other campuses in Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados. This started as a partnership with the St. Augustine campus, and 10 years later, it transitioned to the School of Clinical Medicine and Research and changed its affiliation to the Mona campus. It is now 25 years since we started with a small class of 29 students with only 4 Bahamians. And now we can boast to have produced almost 650 new doctors, with 98% being Bahamian. and just about all of them have been funded by you, by the government of the Bahamas and the people of the Bahamas. 100% of the tuition in the last 2 years has been supported by the government of the Bahamas. And even though in 2019, it was decided that we had to bond the students from the beginning of their training, there was probably little need to do that because almost all of them stay here to do internship and to work beyond internship as SHOs and consultants. And the majority of them stay in the public sector. In 2002, we established our first postgraduate program in family medicine. We have added 6 more. A total of 150 specialists and subspecialists have graduated from these local postgraduate programs. 62 from family medicine. We probably have the most graduates from family medicine program in the region in such a short period of time. 23 pediatricians, 17 obstetricians and gynecologists, 14 emergency room physicians, 14 internists, 12 psychiatrists, and 7 surgeons. And over 98% of them have remained in the Bahamas, and most work in the public sector. The brain drain did not occur here, and the establishment of the local programs have allowed better succession planning, with now the replacement of specialists who are retiring. We are also seeing more second generations of physicians in one family, and this class, I want to pause so that you can absorb this information. This class has a graduate whose grandmother was in the first class starting in 1948. And now has a granddaughter who's graduating 75 years later. The Lyons family has the distinct privilege of having 3 generations and 6 doctors trained at the University of the West Indies. The confidence that this family placed in UWI deserves another applause. I also want to acknowledge that the government's commitment to UWI is tangible in other ways too. It covers the staffing and infrastructural needs of the school and provides a physical building in close proximity to the hospital. Our academic staff is only 5 full-time lecturers, but we could not do this without the 100 associate lecturers. With this level of support, the government of the Bahamas, we will continue our discussions and plans to expand the postgraduate programs in anesthesia and orthopedics, to name a few, and design a program to satisfy the needs of the 2-year of training post-internship for registration with the Medical Council of the Bahamas. UWI Scmr remains committed to excellence and innovation as it shapes the future of the medical education and healthcare in the region. To you, our newest doctors of the Bahamas, my heartiest congratulations. You have worked hard and you deserve to celebrate now with your families and friends and the entire Bahamas. I'm saddened that not all of your classmates are with you, but you will hold the mantle for them and they will be here to join us a little bit later. Delayed but not denied. Much has been invested in you. We know that you have what it takes to carry us to the next level. Handle your patients and colleagues with the sensitivity and passion they deserve. The sky is the limit for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Sinqui. Certainly, we are proud of the growth and development of UWI School of Clinical Medicine and Research, and certainly all of the doctors that continue to be trained, that provide stellar service to the Bahamian people, as well as to people throughout the Commonwealth and the Caribbean, as well as the entire world. We have experts everywhere, so I think we deserve a round of applause for the fine job that the university continues to do. We will now have a special message from the Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, Professor Minerva Thame.
The Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, the Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Hannah Martin, the Director of the UWI School of Clinical Medicine and Research, Dr. Corinne Sinqui, our keynote speaker, Professor Maureen Sams-Vaughan, specially invited guests, distinguished colleagues, parents, or new doctors of the class of 2023, good afternoon. First, let me start off by congratulating our new doctors. Well done. This is a very special year. The University of the West Indies is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year, and the School of Clinical Medicine and Research is celebrating 25 years. The UE is ranked highest of all degree granting institutions in the Caribbean by the Time Higher Education, and it is ranked among the top 1.5% of universities worldwide. The university was established in 1948 with 33 students in the Faculty of Medicine, with 23 males and 10 females, and has grown significantly over the years. The Faculty of Medicine was renamed to the Faculty of Medical Sciences. The School of Clinical Medicine and Research, BAHAMAS, has provided 25 years of medical education in the country and has been in partnership with the Mona campus for over a decade. This fruitful partnership has yielded many graduates, both at the undergraduate and the postgraduate level, for which we are very proud. We will continue working together to build and to improve the delivery of our programs. You, class of 2023, have now joined this rich legacy. I want you to cast your mind back to when you first entered medical school at the University of the West Indies. A bit of anxiety, apprehensive about the unknown, but eager to learn and to start a new journey. Unfortunately, on that journey, we met COVID-19. And instead of going onto the wards and entering into your clinical phase, we had to revert to emergency remote teaching, meaning using that virtual platform. There were challenges with computers, challenges with access, and challenges with Wi-Fi. This environment was not what you signed up for. Many of us did not like it. Both those who were delivering the lectures and those who were receiving the lectures were not happy with this system. However, it was how we had to pivot to keep moving forward. But that too ended, and we embraced going back face to face and engaging in what medicine really is. In the end, you being a resilient group, you plodded on and you have completed successfully, gaining all sorts of experiences on your journey. Medicine is an apprenticeship, and we learn or trade by that means. I often tell my students that they learn medicine not by sitting in the library, but by being around in the clinical space, by doing, by seeing, and working side by side by your colleagues, both senior and junior. That premise will not change now that you are doctors. You are all long life learners. As you go into internship, into residency, and as you become consultants, you will continue to learn. The busier you have that call night is the more you learn, because it's the more you see and the more you do. This is a very special day for you when you celebrate your success with your family and friends. You have entered a profession of service and you must do so with pride and humility. As you continue on your journey, which is still in its infancy, I want you to remember to treat your patients with respect and you communicate with them no matter how small they are. Remember to listen to your patients and show compassion and empathy. Be patient and answer their questions without an attitude, as no question is trivial or stupid. You must educate your patients on their condition, so when they leave you, they must understand exactly what is wrong, and they must understand what the plan is that you have for them. That way, your compliance is much greater. Remember to behave in a professional manner at all times. You cannot be texting on your phone when you're talking to your patients. If your phone rings, which it may, you say excuse to the patient, explain that you need to take this call, and ask for their indulgence. When they're waiting for a long time, a simple explanation on what is happening goes a long way. Your patients have no idea which ones of you have a GPA of 4 or a GPA of 2. What they will judge you by is how you treat them and the respect that you show to them. Remember to go that extra mile, which very often makes a difference and becomes etched in their minds as this is what they will remember you by. As you enter internship, you will experience long working hours, but you must learn to balance your working life with your social life. You need to get adequate rest and you must eat properly. You must take care of yourself so you can take care of others. The life of medicine doesn't mean that your social life must die, but you must find that way to balance the both of them because it's very important for your mental health. Again, congratulations to you all, and I wish you a wonderful and fulfilling career. Thank you.
Certainly, we appreciate those special remarks from the Dean, Professor Thame. We're going to, at this time, pause to allow for some special presentations. I'm going to invite Dr. Sinqui to distribute and acknowledge some special persons with us and the Foreman Foundation at this time.
Thank you very much. There's a particular foundation that has helped us. The government of the Bahamas donated the tuition, big contribution for the education of the students. But even with that significant contribution, there were still students who struggled. The Myron Jacob Foreman Foundation stepped up to the plate to allow us to give some financial assistance toward the students. It was established in 1997 in Florida to fulfill the desire of Mike to financially assist Bahamian medical students. He was a pharmacist who had moved to Florida from New York, where he started a distribution firm for major pharmaceutical companies in the Caribbean and Central America. But the Bahamas was his love. Our students have benefited greatly from their contribution since 2015, with contributions in excess of $200,000. And a humbling and immediate response was given to several students during the Hurricane Dorian experience. Contributions to 15 students was extended even this year when it first seemed challenging and they said no. And I said, oh, and they said, okay. And then they gave 15 students a special contribution. This money is paid directly to the students with a selection based on need and our input. It is an honor to have 4 members of the foundation here today. And I'd like to invite them up to the podium, Mr. Van Dyer, Mr. Gary Salari, Colin Cameron, and Steve Vandertorp. I'm hoping they're in the audience. Dr. Roberts, can you come up for me, please, so you could join us in the photo op? You could come up on the podium. Because Dr. Roberts was instrumental in finalizing the collaboration and assuring them that the money will go to the right people for the right intent. The next award that I'd like to announce is the Cecil M. Bethel Award for the Most Outstanding Student. Dr. Bethel is the first Bahamian to have graduated from the University of the West Indies in 1957. He was a well-respected and renowned internist. He's now deceased, but he delivered 30 years of care in the government services. And I remember him during my internship years and the kind of dignity and professionalism that he executed at all times. So it was fitting that we named this after him. And I'd like to invite our awardee, Dr. Kaleri Edgecombe, Kaleri would have graduated with the highest GPA for the class and had outstanding performances in her final examination. So congratulations to her again. The second award is the Dr. Anthony Regis Award for the most outstanding performer in the final MBBS examination. Dr. Anthony Regis is a Trinidad-born anesthesiologist and was married to our former CMO and now Registrar of the Medical Council, Dr. Marceline Dahl Regis, who is here tonight and will be presenting the award. He joined the University of the Bahamas training site in 1997, and he served several times as the acting director between 1997 to 2007 with his untimely death and sudden and catastrophic demise. He's forever missed and remembered for his mentoring and fatherly attitude. So I invite Dr. Dahl Regis to come up and to present this award to Dr. Hannah Thompson, who had distinction and honors in all three subjects. I forgot the last award. and that is for the most outstanding student in obstetrics and gynecology. So Dr. Varunda, I'm going to invite you to come up. And the award is in memory of Dr. George Sherman, who was one of our outstanding obstetrician gynecologists and who I had the pleasure of working under as an intern so many years back. And the awardee is Dr. Aisha Sargent.
Without further ado, we will have remarks, firstly by the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training. Certainly we know the importance of education, and so we appreciate all that the Ministry of Education and the Minister continues to do for us, and so we welcome her as she brings remarks.
Good evening. Such a pleasure to be here on such a wonderful occasion that makes us all, not just the parents and the extended family and friends, but all of us as Bahamians. We feel so proud of the accomplishments of these young people. So I wanted to accept the protocol, even though Dr. Dowell said it hasn't been established, but I guess he will establish it, but I thought it was, I don't know. But we have a lot of very important people in the room who in various sectors of UE and Ministry of Health who are here. But I want to begin by extending my congratulations to every single one of these young people who are here, seated here this evening. Join me in. Yes. And before I forget, I have to thank the Royal Bahamas Defense Force because they are good. Their band. I won't be long because I saw Dr. Dowell's speech and it's about this big, and so I won't be long. I just want to say that Dr. Monroe, who was long, but he actually went where my mind went, because he talked about the history, the journey of our people. And I just want to give you a couple dates or years. 56 years since majority rule. 50 years since independence, and 25 years of the establishment of this program. The story of our people has what I always describe it as a journey. It has been long, it has been painful in many respects, but it's also been shining and victorious. That's the history of our people. These young people were the gleam in the eye of our ancestors. They are, yes, they were the hope that was without evidence on the horizon, yet they hoped. These young people are the manifestation of all that even our ancestors could not imagine. And what they represent today is the further building of capacity in our country. The subvention is simultaneously an investment in these young people as individuals, but at the same time, it is an investment in our national fabric and our intangible strength as a people. 50 years, 56 years, 25 years. It was their belief, and it's our belief, that these young people are participants in crafting the finest country on the face of the earth. Not just rhetoric, young professionals. We see you as young people of excellence, intellectually endowed, ethically grounded, rich in potential. And as admonished by the President of the Medical Association of the Bahamas, your role is one of service. It's a calling and not simply a job. You are placed where none of us, well, not most of us, are not placed in our human development, in our national life. It is a privileged, sacred undertaking. And so I end by again saying congratulations. We are proud of you because I know it took hard work, sacrifice, plenty resilience, perseverance, strength, passion, and just before those exams, maybe some courage, and a stellar pursuit. So your refinement, that you came through all of that, was just the beginning. Ahead of you will be many tests and trials, no doubt. And beyond your skill and training, beyond your resources and ingenuity, there is God and only God. Remember always to give thanks. May the Almighty be at the foundation of your lives, and that you be propelled to be all that you can be in the medical profession, in healing, in science, in testing the boundaries for the benefit of mankind. I thank your teachers, your lecturers, your administrators, your families, your friends for being the constant support in your lives. And never forget the role that they have played in your success, particularly when you get some little bit of success. Never forget. In all things, give thanks. Again, I congratulate you and wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those wonderful remarks. And we know that certainly we're honored to have the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, the Minister of Health and Wellness, here with us this evening. We certainly know the importance of health to a country and to a nation. So we welcome him right now to bring remarks to us.
Thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Give it up one more time for my colleague, Glennis Anna Martin. You know, when I came in this afternoon, I spoke to Conville Brown. I said, Conville, how many men in the graduating class this year? And so we was looking. Give it up for the 4 men in the graduating class this year. Stand up. We're proud of you. Stand up. Wow. You know, please take your seat. One more time. Conville, we are a dying species. You know, when we were planning the subvention and figuring out how the government would utilize its resources to assist the University of the West Indies and assist many deserving students in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, we first realized that the University of the West Indies are accepting more students than the internship program can handle in the Bahamas. And so we decided that we would put our money where we can get the most maximum return. We decided that we will pay for any student from the Bahamas who make it into year 4 and 5 of the University of the West Indies Medical Science Program. And then we began to look at the names of the students, and we huddled together and we said, man, ain't no man in this class. And someone jokingly said, maybe we need to offer them a car and pay for their accommodation, and the list goes on and on. So it's right back to where we started, that less than 2% of the graduating class, and I believe this is a cross-section of all campuses, less than 2% of the graduates are men. Man, we got to do better. We got to step up to the plate, and we got to make a positive contribution and begin to get our foot back into the door. Standing on the appropriate protocol established so well by our moderator, I would like to just acknowledge some very important people. Our professor, Vaughn, who will be bringing the keynote address, so I'm not going to be long-winded, because I believe she has something very important to say to the graduates. There's two things I want to say to the graduates. One, remain humble. Don't let it go to your head. Take 2 steps back and look at yourself and remain humble. And as you take care of patients, do it to the best of your ability, as if you're taking care of a loved one. That's very important, because for us who go from place to place on the ward, we're beginning to realize that this essential moral fiber that must be brewing in all graduates are becoming something very distant, and we must address it. The second thing you must realize, and I think Professor, the Dean of the Medical Science Faculty, made it very clear. Commit yourself to lifelong learning. I think Dr. Roll said it as well. The journey for learning as healthcare professionals is lifelong. And so you must, at this stage of the game, commit yourself to that, because it is lifelong learning that will allow you to achieve your maximum potential and provide top quality healthcare services for your clients who you are privileged to serve. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is on a journey to improve quality healthcare services for every citizen in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas who utilize the public healthcare services. I want you to know that coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, the challenges that existed at our tertiary healthcare services became gaping holes. And so many of you who are using our services realize that there is a wide cross-section of challenges. And as minister, I will be disingenuine if I stand here today and try to paint a cozy picture of our hospitals and clinics. These facilities are going through the essential metamorphosis to improve the infrastructure, first of all, to ensure that you have a comfortable place to work in, and the residents of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas have a safe, well-stocked, well-oiled facilities to receive these essential services. Our hospitals are receiving much unintentionally neglected renovations. We are now working diligently in all of our primary healthcare facilities to ensure that the residents in the far-flung islands of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas have the same access to quality services that we enjoy here in Nassau and Grand Bahama. Let me assure you, There's a global shortage of healthcare workers around the world, and there is massive manifestation of these shortages here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. While we spend large sums of money training Bahamian healthcare professionals, countries to the north are constantly recruiting here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas some of the best of the trained individuals that were put in place as a direct result of Bahamas taxpayers' resources. While this is happening, many of us who are responsible for ensuring that the services are provided are recruiting abroad, trying to fill these gaps in the Bahamas to ensure that Bahamians are able to receive these essential medical services. In 2016, we launched National Health Insurance. We launched it crawling on our bellies, but it was launched. And today we can boast of some 150,000 individuals who are part of our National Health Insurance Program, aimed at delivering quality primary health care services throughout our archipelago. I want to assure you that in October last year, I laid a very important piece of legislation that would repeal and replace the current National Health Insurance Act and replace it with a well-oiled piece of legislation that will begin to take us to the next step. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because I believe it's the right thing to do, because we are on a journey that very soon every Bahamian in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas will become a private patient. Now that is something that we all should strive to achieve, to improve the delivery of healthcare services, improve the infrastructure where we provide these services, ensure that every Bahamian in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas have access to these services just as they have access to water, electricity, and essential services in the country. I'm excited about this journey. And graduates, I'm so pleased that you have come at the right time. We're waiting for y'all at the hospital. We're waiting for y'all. We need y'all. And so as you put on your white coat today, and as they drape you with your stethoscope, get ready. Because tomorrow, we're waiting for you. And the University of the West Indies is eager to ensure that your internship program is not only intense, but it's a quality program, and at the end of the day, catapult you to become house officers and move on to postgraduate studies and continue to provide quality healthcare services for the residents of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Humble, stepping up to the plate, and doing it to the best of your ability. Now, I'm going to get out of the way because Professor, who I've had the opportunity to speak with, told me that she graduated from the internship program here in the Bahamas, and I'm interested to hear exactly what an esteemed member of the University of the West Indies would have to say to us today. Graduates, congratulations. God bless you. God bless the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Thank you very much, Minister Darville. And now I'm going to invite Dr. Paul Hunt, pediatric specialist, immunologist, and allergy specialist, to introduce our keynote speaker.
Greetings. Minister Darville, I think protocol has been established, so I won't waste so much time. It's an honor for me to introduce our guest speaker, Professor Vaughn Sams. We go back many, many years. We started together back in 1975, the Faculty of Natural Sciences. We started medicine together in 1977, and in 1982, we basically graduated, and we did our internship together, and we were senior house officers here in the Bahamas. And in 1985, we both left the Bahamas, and that's where the comparison stops. Professor Samsborn since has done exceedingly well in the academic and research fields. She has spent her life work as an advocacy for children, special emphasis on developmental and behavioral pediatrics. She has special interests in the early life events that may impact the behavior and development of kids. She has a special interest in violence, poverty, how it affects people's behavior. And she has a special interest in disabilities. She has done seminal work in children with autism, not only in the children, but in the family and family dynamics. And it's no surprise that she has authored over 120 articles, and that's very, very impressive. She has at least inclusive of 3 books, and she has authored many chapters in very good, prestigious books. It's not surprising that given this level of expertise, her advice and counsel has been sought out, and she basically has sat on as a consultant in certain international groups, the International Development Bank, the World Bank, Pan American Health Organization, and UNICEF, and her counsel and advice has been sought by a lot of the governments in the Bahamas, the governments in the Caribbean. She has taught at all levels at university. She lectures and supervises the doctoral students in behavioral pediatrics, not just at UWI, but also at academic universities in the United States. And she basically holds adjunct professional professorship in various universities in the United States. She has held various positions in the University of the West Indies, but I know one that she's most proud of, that she was named the very first professor in child health, child development, and development of pediatrics at UWI. She has been the consultant development on pediatrics at UWI and started our program back in 1993, and she just recently relinquished it. For Ministers Darville and Hannah, her government basically awarded her they won the 5th highest award, Commander of the Order of Distinction, back in 2007. And last year she was awarded the 4th highest award for Jamaican citizen, the Order of Jamaica. So take note. She is married to one of my longest high school friends, Dr. Vaughn, an accomplished orthopedic surgeon in his own right. And I know everybody here is waiting to hear what she has to say. So without further ado, Professor Vaughn Sams.
Thank you, Paul, for that introduction. First, let me say hearty congratulations to the graduates. It's just so wonderful to see all of them and to hear the excitement among the family members. Ministers, UWI representatives, representatives of the Medical Association of the Bahamas and other organizations here, and other distinguished guests. First, I'd like to thank the UWI School of Clinical Medicine and Research in the Bahamas for inviting me to speak at this prestigious occasion, the oath swearing and award ceremony for the medical class of 2023 in the Bahamas. This is a particular privilege, as on July 1, 1982, I and 12 other newly minted doctors of the class of 1982, first slide please, stood on the steps of the Princess Margaret Hospital to take a photograph to mark the beginning of our clinical practice as interns. You might, if you were close enough, recognize some of the persons who spoke earlier, Dr. Paul Hunt, Dr. Loxley Monroe, and some of the other members of my class who some of you may know, Dr. Reggie Carey, Dr. Tyrone Bartlett, all members of my class. This was a time when the Bahamas did not have enough doctors to meet their internship needs, and doctors came from Jamaica here. This is a very different time. Look at all the doctors you have now. Yesterday, 41 years later, my husband, Dr. Kenneth Vaughan, and I, and yes, he is from the class of '82 as well, we took a photograph on those same steps. You will hear more about that a little later. We were as excited then as you all are now at the beginning of your chosen career. There have been many changes in medical school since the time of my class of 1982. For example, next slide. You have the internet and so many medical texts and references available online. For us to do research, we had to use textbooks and search the huge Index Medicus. I'm sure you don't even know what that is. We had to go to the library and get these big textbooks and search through them for the topics that we wanted, and then copy out the names of all the journals, and then we had to get them and photocopy them. It was a very different time. But other aspects of medical school, I'm sure, have remained the same. I know that some of you entered medical school as a potential first physicians in your family. Others of you entered from a line of nurses, doctors, and other healthcare workers. And we heard about Dr. Lyons earlier, whose uncle was in my class. Each of these situations had its own intense type of pressure. I know that at the start of your 5 years, there were medical terms you could barely pronounce. There were locations you learned first in the anatomy lab, like mediolateral and frontoparietal, that were very confusing to understand. Next slide. And the next. Now these and other medical terms roll off the tongue. And when you speak now, you often have to convert your medical language to English to communicate with non-medical persons. I know that you missed many social activities as you committed to your studies. You missed the family functions. You missed the parties, probably not all of them. You missed the prize giving. I know you made good friends along the way. You laughed and celebrated together at your success. You cried together and supported each other when there were failures. Next slide. Some of your friends will be lifelong. Some will be lifelong partners. And you can see there, my husband and I, as medical students from the class of '82, and quite recently. Our medical class kind of overdid the lifetime partners bit. 14 of us out of 110 married each other. And more than 40 years later, we are all still happily married. I know some of you struggled financially to get to the end, and some of you not so much. I know of the material you thought you could never learn, and the exams you thought you would never pass. Over the last 5 years, I know you worked really hard, and here you all are. And as the advertisement said, you've come a long way, baby. Next slide. If your statistics are similar to that of our class, about a third of you will become general practitioners. A third of you will become physicians. Another 20% will become surgeons. The world's your oyster now. But as you look back at the challenges and the success, today you are here because each one of you has a gift. You've had to work really hard to get where you are today, yes. But the fact that you were actually able to do that is a gift, a personal gift. But being a physician is truly a gift for other reasons. First, it's a gift because none of you got here by yourselves. There were parents, relatives, spouses, partners, friends, classmates, and others who got you here by providing you with gifts of the different types of support that you needed at different times. Sorry. Second, being a physician is a gift because providing health care is ranked among the most rewarding professions. Third, next slide, it is a gift because the public perceives, without knowing anything about you, but that you are a physician, that you are very smart. Very few professions have that kind of public perception. Fourth, it is a gift because the public also perceives you, without knowing anything about you, but that you are a physician, as being very trustworthy. So some colleagues at Harvard decided to determine what trust was made of. And they calculated it. And there are criteria at the top and divided by self-interest at the bottom. Next slide. And on the trustworthiness scale, you will see scientists and physicians. The scientists and the physicians flip over every now and then. Most of the times the physicians are at the top. This particular year, the physicians were number 2. But trustworthy. So the public perceives you without knowing anything about you, that you are trustworthy. Politicians are up there, right? But to whom much is given, much is expected. Luke 12:48. So as you look toward the future, I want you to think about your gifts. I want you to think about who you are as a physician and to recognize that you are a critical contributor to what economists would call a public good. Economists identify 3 characteristics for something being a public good. The first is that there must be social benefits. Public goods must have social benefits for a community, whether locally, nationally, or globally. Second, public goods must be undepletable. No one should have to compete for it, and there should never be an undersupply of it. Third, public goods must be widely available to everyone. Nobody is to be excluded. Health care is recognized as a public good. You, as young doctors, are the human resources that helps to make health a public good. You are the Bahamas means for ensuring that health remains a public good for persons in your country for years to come. Today, you will take the modified Hippocratic Oath. Hippocrates was not the first physician. The first record we have of a physician is Amenhotep, who lived during the 3rd dynasty of Egypt, believed to be about 4,500 years BC. Though we don't know a lot about him, other than that he was the 2nd most revered person next to the king, we do know a lot about Hippocrates, and there's a reason for that. He was a mathematician and scientist who lived in about 5 BC, and he made his mark and is recognized as the father of medicine. We know that he first put forward scientific and environmental theories about the causes of disease. Before that, everybody thought it was the gods that did it. But I want to focus on the fact that Hippocrates understood health to be a public good long before we knew those terms. He wrote down his scientific theories, not all of which were correct, but they moved us into the scientific era. He wrote them down because he wanted to share them with others. He started a medical school to share his knowledge with others. And of course, he created the first ethical principles for physicians. When you finish taking your oath, I want you to remember your role in maintaining health as a public good for your country, and not only by practicing medicine. I'll give you some options, and I'm sure there are others. Will you financially and emotionally support others as you were supported? Will you share your knowledge and educate the public willingly as others educated you? Will you mentor others as you were mentored? Will you provide voluntary services at times as you know of the social needs of your community? I'm sure that you will, and you will find other ways to make health a public good in the Bahamas. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all a wonderful career.
Thank you again for that wonderful keynote address. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Dr. Shrikant and Dr. Chin to lead us in the induction of our newest doctors.
Now we are here for the most important and exciting part of the program.
Good evening, everybody.
I am Dr. Shrikant Gayakparthi, consultant plastic surgeon and lecturer at surgery at the University of West Indies.
And I'm Christine Chin, internal medicine specialist.
Okay, so we're going to be calling upon our graduates, one after the other from this side, and we'll be calling upon our robers to come from this side. First, I'll be inviting Dr. Vrunda Sakarkar, our consultant gynecologist and obstetrician, and my fellow colleague lecturer at the University of West Indies, to come and robe the newest grad doctor in the Bahamas, Dr. Krista Adderley. Next, we want to invite Dr. Tennille Cargill to come up on the dais and to robe the next newest doctor of the Bahamas, Dr. LaShonda Adderley.
We're going to invite Dr. Catherine Conliffe, family medicine specialist, to robe Dr. Delexis Barnaby. Congratulations.
Inviting now Dr. Conwell Brown, a cardiologist, to robe Dr. Rajani Brown. Regine, sorry.
Congratulations. Okay, so we want to invite Dr. Delicia Bodie, our newest surgeon in the Bahamas, to robe Dr. Andrell Burrows. Dr. Burrows.
I'm going to invite our director, Dr. Sinkwi Brown, to come up and robe Dr. Janae Burrows.
So let's invite Dr. Bernadette Thompson-Braham, our radiologist, to robe the newest doctor, Dr. Davriel Butler. Woo!
I'm going to invite Dr. Leonard Stephens, our urologist, to come up on the dais and robe Dr. Jada Carey.
So we're not finding Dr. Jason Thompson, so we're going to ask Dr. Shurikan to robe Dr. Christopher Cash. Woo!
I'm going to invite my surgical colleague, Dr. Devon Creary, to come up on the dais and robe his sister, Dr. Devonia Carey.
So we're going to invite Dr. Richard Braham. Dr. Richard Braham to robe Dr. Lindsay Davis. Congratulations.
I have the pleasure of inviting my surgical colleague, Dr. Olu Tinubu, consultant in surgery, to robe the most outstanding graduate of this class, Dr. Claire Edgecombe.
We're going to invite Dr. Chantalashka Knowles to robe Dr. Riche Ferguson. That's his wife.
We're going to invite another proud brother, Dr. Sheldon Ferguson, to come up on the dais and robe
We're going to have Bianca Edgecombe, Dr. Edgecombe, to robe Dr. Lisette Fernander.
I'm going to invite my colleague lecturer in family medicine, Dr. Sabrika Pinda Butler, to robe Dr. Chanel Gale.
We're going to invite Dr. Simone Joaquin to robe Dr. Rakisha Hamilton.
I'm going to invite my colleague, Dr. Rosetta Ingram, the dermatologist and general physician, to come and robe Dr. Jaleesa Higgs.
Dr. David Barnett, our orthopedic surgeon, is going to come up and robe Dr. EALTH Kemp. Congratulations. Woo!
I'm going to invite onto the dais Dr. Brandon Devo to robe Dr. Kendisha Lightborn.
And I have the privilege and honor to invite Dr. Alan Lyons, the father of Dr. Krista Lyons. Woo!
Requesting Dr. Darren Halliday, our oncologist, gynecologist, to come onto the dais to robe Dr. Rebecca Madar.
We'd love to invite Dr. Monica Davis to robe Dr. Amelia Maynard. Woo!
I have the privilege of inviting my colleague plastic surgeon, Dr. Colleen Fitzcharles, on the dais to come and robe Dr. Rachel Nichols.
Dr. Jillian Bartlett will now robe Dr. Micaiah Nixon. Congratulations, Dr. Nixon.
requesting Dr. Andrea Griffith-Bowe, our obstetrician and gynecologist, to come on the dais to robe Dr. Alvinique Penn. He's here.
And now our immediate past director, Dr. Robin Roberts, will now robe Dr. Maguire Pinder.
Calling upon Dr. Ronald Knowles, obstetrician and gynecologist, to come on the dais to robe Dr. Latika Raming.
We're going to invite Dr. Gertrude Holder, our family medicine lecturer, to robe Dr. Cleandra Roll. Congratulations.
I'm going to invite my colleague, consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Eugenia Comby, to robe Dr. Aisha Sargent.
Let's have our Chief of Staff from Princess Margaret Hospital, Dr. Caroline Burnett Garraway, robe the next new doctor of the Bahamas, Dr. D'Angelo Saunders.
Calling upon Dr. Ventaria Taylor, General Surgeon and Vascular Surgeon, to come and robe Dr. Janice Seymour.
Let's invite Dr. Harold Munnings, our gastroenterologist, to robe the new Dr.
I now have the distinct pleasure of inviting my colleague plastic surgeon, Dr. Gregory Neal, to come and robe the most outstanding performer of the final MBBS exam, Dr. Hannah Thompson.
Let's invite Dr. Danielle Johnson, podiatrist, to robe the new Dr. Tamia Thompson, who is the daughter of Dr. Philip Thompson. Woo!
Dr. Tamia Thompson is the daughter of late Dr. Philip Thompson, our general surgeon. I now invite Dr. Christine Chin to come and robe Dr. Bernice Turner.
And next, we're going to have Dr. Valentine Grimes, or orthopedic surgeon, robe Dr. Ashley Wells.
Gonna invite a proud father, Dr. Eric Brown, general practitioner from Freeport, Grand Bahama, to come and robe Dr. Gabrielle White. Can I now present the graduating class of 2023? Graduates, please, doctors, please stand up. Yeah. The new graduate doctors, keep standing. I invite Dr. Claire Edgecombe and Dr. Hannah Thompson to come on the dais. They will both read, along with the doctors, the Hippocratic Oath, the modified Hippocratic Oath. I also ask all physicians in the audience to remain standing for the oath, and then followed by that, they will deliver the response on behalf of the class.
I gratefully acknowledge the distinction to be conferred upon me, and I solemnly promise that as a graduate in medicine, I will abide steadfast in all due loyalty to the ethics of my profession and endeavor always to promote the welfare and maintain the reputation of the University of the West Indies. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests, and the newest doctors in the Bahamas, good evening. Today marks a
Today marks a significant milestone in our lives as we gather here to celebrate our completion of medical school. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you and reflect upon the incredible journey we have embarked upon to become doctors. 5 years ago, we arrived on campuses in Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad to chase our dreams. Some of us had just completed bachelor's degrees, some of us were fresh out of high school, and some of us left established careers. We came from diverse backgrounds with unique stories and dreams, but regardless of the paths that led us to the University of the West Indies, we were united by our unwavering commitment to the pursuit of medical knowledge. Back in September 2018, we were bright-eyed and filled with the aspirations of making a difference in the world. For most of us, it was our first time stepping foot in Jamaica, Barbados, or Trinidad. We were exposed to new food, music, phrases, and while we were skeptical about some things, we immersed ourselves in these new cultures and embraced our favorite aspects. Once we discovered Curep in Trinidad, doubles and samis became a must after every lime, fete, and spotter. However, these experiences were coupled with feelings of missing home, longing for a cold gombe, conch salad and daiquiri, and Sunday dinners from Mummy's pot, because there's truly no place like home. To balance this homesickness, we developed a tight bond with our classmates, forming friend groups that would eventually become study groups and key support systems that were pivotal in us successfully getting through this journey. We absolutely needed to rely on each other because little did we know those early semesters would be the best years we'd have in medical school.
Shortly after we returned to campus in our second year, the powerful Hurricane Dorian ravaged Grand Bahama and Abaco, leaving some of us without homes or livelihoods. With our homeland ever present in our minds, we pressed ahead with our studies. And just as a sense of normalcy returned, March of 2020 brought the unfathomable. We received news of a virus rapidly spreading in countries far away, never once thinking it would change our lives so dramatically. In-person classes were paused for what we thought would be just a few weeks, and many of us quickly packed our suitcases, prepared for a short trip home. This short trip would turn into nearly a full year. At home, we began a new normal, transitioning to online learning prepared for us by transformative lecturers. Along with challenges such as social isolation and strained finances, the impact of the pandemic was also compounded by the loss of loved ones, battling COVID-19 ourselves, and watching family and friends struggle with this new way of life. Our third year began with colleagues from the Mona and Cayville campuses commencing clinical clerkships at their local hospitals, while those of us in Trinidad continued learning remotely. In spite of challenges posed by the pandemic, however, we emerged as resilient, well-prepared students, ready for clinicals. As we rolled into fourth year, clinical training brought interactions with real patients with the added strain of COVID-19. We knew to sanitize our hands before and after touching a patient, but many of us sanitized our hands after touching anything. We did our best to avoid putting our families at risk. We survived being quizzed on ward rounds. We survived our patients switching their stories in the presence of our seniors. And we survived being at the hospital all day and studying all night. We had good times too, cracking jokes at lunchtime in the student lounge. We finally made it to the last leg of our medical school journey, year 5, the year of MBBS, or our final exams, the year of reckoning. By this time, COVID-19 restrictions were easing, and we soon discovered that we would be the first class since 2019 to have an OSCE, or practical exams, as part of MBBS. This made us even more nervous, with every rotation being a reminder of our need to get serious about preparing for these exams. The time soon arrived for us to take our long-awaited graduation portraits, finish our final rotations, and part ways for our dedicated study period, reflecting on how far we had come. MBBS was as difficult as we expected it to be, but we pushed through paper after paper, including the time burnt popcorn and a fire alarm made us evacuate the building, and OSCE after OSCE, which included the time our obstetric patient suddenly went into labor. And we truly gave it our very best. And then before we knew it, results were out. Everything we had experienced in the last 5 years led us to the moment on our country's 50th anniversary of independence, when we awaited anxiously in the administration office to find out if we had made it. One by one, we walked in to see Dr. Sinqui, desperate to hear the words, "You passed." Some of us cried, some of us screamed with joy, and some of us quietly digested the news. All I could say was, "Thank you, God." This moment, however, became bittersweet, as we soon learned that some of our beloved classmates didn't receive their ideal results. Though we share in their disappointment, we remain confident that delay is not denial. One day soon, by God's grace, we will all be able to greet each other as doctors.
A journey that began in September 2018 has brought us here to this moment in July 2023. Our journey has been anything but easy. We've endured long, sleepless nights of studying, countless classes, and the constant pressure to excel. Many of us battled the formidable adversaries of imposter syndrome and self-doubt, questioning our abilities and wondering if we truly deserve to be here among the accomplished individuals who surround us. The weight of comparison, the fear of failure, and the relentless pursuit of perfection often left us vulnerable to the feelings of inadequacy. However, we must recognize that our achievements are the result of tireless dedication and countless sacrifices. Our resilience, our dedication, and our determination have been tested, but we never wavered. We pushed through, fueled by our shared goal of becoming compassionate and skilled physicians. We have witnessed both triumphs and tribulation. We have experienced the delight of successfully diagnosing a challenging case and the heartbreak of losing a patient despite the efforts of our teams. These experiences have shaped us, teaching us the invaluable lessons of empathy, humility, and the fragility of life. Each interaction with our patients, their families, and our colleagues has enriched our understanding of the human body and reinforced our commitment to the beauty of medicine. In this moment of celebration, we cannot ignore the profound losses some of us have experienced along this way. There are loved ones who were an integral part of our lives, guiding and supporting us, who are no longer with us. We would have wanted them here today, celebrating this milestone with us, witnessing the culmination of our hard work. However, their spirits will forever inspire us as we carry their legacy forward in our medical careers. This reflection reminds us that our success is not ours alone. Behind each of us stands a network of family, friends, and loved ones who have cheered us on, offering their unwavering support and believed in our ability to achieve greatness. They have celebrated our successes, comforted us in our failures, and stood by us through it all. And for that, we express our heartfelt appreciation to them. Thank you. As we celebrate our campus's 25th anniversary, we cannot forget the incredible support and mentorship we have received from our esteemed faculty members. We would like to thank our director, Dr. Sinqui, and all the office staff for encouraging us and making this institution feel like a loving family. To our lecturers, senior physicians, nurses, and hospital staff, whose expertise, guidance, and passion for teaching have nurtured us, thank you. You have molded us into physicians with sound clinical knowledge and a love for humanity. We hope to continue to make you proud.
Classmates, the sacrifices we made over the past 5 years were worth it. Claire and I are proud to be part of this distinguished graduating class as we present ourselves to be rolled by those who have mentored us along the way. It has truly been an honor to share in this medical school journey with each and every one of you. Let us go with God in pursuit of excellence and compassion in the field of medicine. I look forward to seeing where our commitment to this sacred vocation will take us, and the impact we will have on our beloved Bahamaland and beyond.
Congratulations, class of 2023.
Such a heartfelt response on behalf of the class of 2023. You almost gave me flashbacks of 20 years ago myself. And so I look to you now. I welcome you into the fraternity of medicine. We are waiting for you at the Public Hospitals Authority and the Ministry of Health. We can't wait for you to start. So we look forward to those fresh faces And those smiling faces, we know that your families will support you because you're ready to go. Once again, congratulations. And so in all things, we must give thanks. And so I'm now going to invite Dr. Ashley Wells, another outstanding student of the class of 2023, to do just that. Let's welcome her.
A pleasant good evening to all. Protocol having been established, good evening. It is indeed an honor to stand before you this evening to bring the closing remarks as well as the vote of thanks for this ceremony. I would first like to thank God, the head of my life, for bringing my colleagues and me to this point in our journey and for how far He is yet to bring us. I would also like to thank my parents, families, and friends for their support over the years. And last, but certainly not least, to my best friend, Dr. Aisha Sargent, whom I'm proud to be graduating with tonight. Thank you for the last 12 years, as I would not want to have done this journey with anyone else by my side. Tonight marks the start of a new chapter for my colleagues and I as we embark upon our journey as healthcare professionals. As we take these daunting steps into our new reality, I wish for us all to never forget how diligently we have worked to reach this point, neither the persons who have worked tirelessly with us and for us, as it is this amalgamation that allows us to stand before you tonight as doctors. On behalf of the graduating class of 2023, we would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the faculty of the University of the West Indies, School of Clinical Medicine and Research, especially Dr. Sinqui, the director, Dr. Chin, Dr. Varunda, and Dr. Shrikant, and all other associate lecturers at the campus. Your support and guidance over the years cannot be overlooked. To the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, Minister of Health and Wellness, and Honorable Glennis Hannah Martin, Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, we extend thanks to you for your kind remarks made in tonight's proceedings. To the Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, the UWI Mona Campus Jamaica, Professor Minerva Thame, and to our key speaker of the evening, Professor Maureen Samsvaughan, we thank you for your wise words and congratulations, and I am confident that my colleagues and I will not soon forget the words you've imparted with us this evening. Thanks is also extended to Dr. Homer Bloomfield, Vice President of the UWI Medical Alumni Association, the Bahamas chapter, as well as Dr. Loxley Monroe, the President, and Dr. Gemma Roll, President of the Medical Association of the Bahamas. To our IT support staff, Dr. Darren Halliday and Mr. Ernest Forbes, and other staff members who have worked endlessly to ensure our comfort throughout our time at Scmr, including Ms. Marsha Shermer-Bean, Ms. Tanya Kelly, Ms. Deosha Thompson, and Ms. Deanne Forbes. We thank you. To the entire physician body, support, clerical, and paramedical staff at the Princess Margaret Hospital, thank you. To our Mistress of Ceremony, Dr. Pinda Butler, we thank you for your concerted efforts in the moderation of tonight's ceremony. And last, but certainly not least, to all family and friends here tonight, supporting the graduates, to the organizers of this evening event, to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Band, Colors Junction Group, photographers, videographers, and the staff at the Bahamar Convention Center, we all wish to thank you for your role in making tonight's ceremony a very memorable one. Congratulations once again to the graduating class of 2023, and happy 25th anniversary to the UWI Scmr. Thank you.